A critical bill designed to close a loophole in the state's paid family leave law is set to expire at the end of the year. Now, this legislation would support grieving families who have lost a baby to stillbirth. Set to pass in June, the bill was pulled at the last minute.
Cassidy Perrone experienced the pain firsthand while she was grieving the stillbirth of her daughter, Olivia. The state revoked her paid leave. Cassidy and pregnancy advocate Samantha Banerjee join us now. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Cassidy, first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss, and thank you for sharing your story. Tell us a little bit about what happened when the state pulled your leave.
Sure. It was the day after my daughter's funeral, who I delivered at 36 weeks gestation after 17 hours of labor. And the day after her funeral, they called to ask me to voluntarily withdraw my application because my leave was being revoked because I did not have a baby to care for. I had been relying on that $1,100 a week for 9 months of pregnancy. And as the primary breadwinner in my household, I was forced to make an unthinkable decision of either following the medical advice of my doctor to take 6 to 12 weeks to recover postpartum or put food on my table.
In terms of this being pulled last minute, were you given any explanation as to why that happened?
Absolutely not. We were told to sit and watch on June 7th as this bill, the last day of session, was going to pass, and it was going to be a monumental change. And we sat and we watched it pass the Senate, but we watched in horror as Assembly leadership pulled this bill with no explanation. Even the sponsors were completely shocked.
It is so heart-wrenching to hear this, especially since even if you don't have your baby to care for, I mean, the emotional toll that it takes after, and the fact that you have to care for your family. Talk a little bit about why it's so important to get this bill back on the agenda and passed.
Yeah, so one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that stillbirth is still a birth. This is happening in the second half of pregnancy in otherwise healthy, low-risk pregnancies the majority of the time. Cassidy and I are both examples of that. And these babies still need to be delivered just like any other. And so these mothers need time to heal afterwards. And so when the state is stripping them of their promised paid leave, it's putting them in a really dangerous situation.
Absolutely. If you're talking about the state being responsible for pulling this, you have to look at the leadership at the top, which is Governor Hochul. So where does she stand with this bill staying on for it being able to pass?
Governor Hochul's team has actually really been champions for us. They've been working really, really hard behind the scenes to find a solution with both chambers of the legislature. So we are very hopeful that if it gets passed through the Assembly, that she will sign it into law. But until Speaker Heastie brings the Assembly back in order to actually take the vote that was promised on this bill, her hands are tied, and so are we as advocates. And there's many people across the state, not just in the stillbirth community, but through cancer and MS and long COVID, and basically anyone who relies on the temporary disability system would benefit from this law. So there's a lot of...
Yeah, so it's far-reaching, too. In addition to just the emotional toll that stillbirth has, talk about the financial struggles, too, and why that leave is so necessary.
Yeah, so when I delivered my daughter, I suffered the same postpartum effects, the gruesome things that happen to your body, in addition to the mental things that happen, like postpartum depression. On top of that, I didn't know how I was going to pay my mortgage. I ran up a crazy amount of credit card debt, ran through all of my savings just to be able to take a little bit of time to heal postpartum, because we are 5 times more likely as stillbirth moms to experience serious postpartum effects, to include death. So this is even more important for stillbirth moms than moms of living babies.
I totally understand how that would be possible. But if your doctor is telling you 6 to 12 weeks just for you to recover, where's the disconnect between your employer not understanding that you need that time?
I think the disconnect is that New York has not prioritized women's rights issues, and one of those is every woman has the right to heal, including lost moms. If you deliver a child, you deserve to take that leave no matter the result. We didn't choose this fate, so why treat us in such a cruel and inhumane way?
I'm so sorry for everything you've been through, but you've been such a powerful voice, and hopefully you can help other women who've gone through the same thing and get this bill passed. So we appreciate both of you coming on the show and sharing.
Thank you so much for helping us get the word out. If you go to pushpregnancy.org, we encourage viewers to please reach out to Speaker Heastie and demand that this bill gets passed.
It's a tough one to nail down, that is for sure.
We're going to get it.
Keep fighting on that one.
We're doing our best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.